What's going on, everybody? Yes, I see the comments. Ha ha ha. Everybody got jokes on Saturday, right? Lisa being like, Chad's pulling the chili, and Steven's, oh, chili. Oh, come on now, man. Y'all ain't gotta be like that, do you? So let me check in with the chat real fast, see who's hanging out with us. Good old boy, what's up? As I said, Steven giving me crap, Lisa giving me crap. I shouldn't expect any less, man. Come on now. So here's the deal. So today, well, let's just say today, I found a little bit of downtime here this afternoon, and I just want to hang out with you guys. And I kind of want to do something a little more lighthearted, so to speak. I want to have a little fun, kind of have some laughs and stuff. Yeah, Lisa, whatever. Checking to see what's up. Lou, what's up? ZXL Master. Hope everybody's doing good. I don't know how it is everywhere else, but it's like unseasonably warm here today. Like crazy, like how warm it is. And I'm kind of like not used to that. And it's deer season, or actually it's like the second to last day from deer season for firearm season here. And I'm used to being it should feel like deer season, man. I mean, and I feel like I'm like ready to go fishing or something. I don't know. And I'm not complaining, so don't start jumping on me because I don't want the snow and I don't want the nasty weather, okay? So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So just give everybody a little bit of time to get in here because I wouldn't want anybody to be late. Oh, well, I mean, well, except me, right? Because can we just forget that part? Let me edit that out. Oh shoot, I can't. But anyway, so let's see. Yeah, it's sunny and warm in Myrtle Beach today. Yeah, whatever. Keep rubbing it in. Okay, I'm like nowhere near Myrtle Beach. I mean, it might be warmer here, but yeah. Anyway. Steven says we don't give a crap. That's when you need to worry. Okay, now you're sounding like my parents. Like when I was growing up, it's because we love you, son. We're making you be grounded and be miserable because we love you, right? Steven's gonna put the corner. Oh, was the fishing awesome? I'll bet it was. Keep rubbing it in. Everybody got them jokes. Poor old Chadro. Typical cop, always late. I'm by no means a typical cop. Hell, I'm not smart enough to even spell cop. So so let me tell you, it's like I said, it's really, really different weather, but my wife decided that she wanted to go out and do something with the kids today. So it kind of left me here, just kind of hanging out and thinking, you know what, I'll just kind of do another live stream and just hang out with everybody and see what's up. So this is more about you guys and just kind of hanging out with you guys and seeing if you guys have any questions and or anything to say. And I want to watch some silly videos maybe here in a little bit and see what's going on too. So, and that's kind of my plan. And also drink my Red Bull. See Blue Bacon and those guys drink their apple juice. I just drink Red Bull. Sorry. What's up, Pat? Queen, how are you? Christine, how are you? Good to see everybody. I've been, man, I had to work a lot lately. And I told you guys before in some of my videos and stuff that I was going to be doing some overtime because of the holidays, to make sure that the babies get good Christmases, got to have fun. Right. And I wanted to make sure that we can do something and bless those babies and let them have some good memories. And I know it's not about the gifts, but hey, if I'm able and God's given me an able body to do so, then I'm going to do it. Right. So, and that's kind of where I'm at. So, but anyway, so I kind of, through all my overtime work and stuff that I've had to do, I haven't had a whole lot of time to get on here and make videos. And I was actually somebody was like kind of jumping me the other day. It's like, you used to do the daily videos and stuff. I'm like, well, yeah, I promise I'll get back to that. But I've just kind of fallen off a little bit because I'm working so much. So that's kind of thrown me a curveball. But nevertheless, I promise. Sovereign's in the house. What's up, Sovereign? Sovereign, you can come up if you want to, buddy. I'm just going to kind of do some silly stuff and have some laughing videos. I'm hoping anyway. So, see, I'll just fade away like that right there. Now, as soon as I try it, it doesn't do it. What's up with that? I try to literally disappear in this, look at this. Oh, there it goes. But Anyway, is it Sovereign's birthday? Oh, well, if it is, happy birthday, sir. I wasn't aware of that, which I have not been on Facebook or anything today. So, I haven't, I think I posted just a picture earlier, but I have not scrolled Facebook at all. So, but, anyway, so that's kind of where we're at. So, just kind of want to see Epiphanies. What's up? Effing lawyer. Hello, sir. But I've tried to throughout the week. I've tried to like check in on everybody else's chats as best I can and just kind of stay Dick Insider. What's up? So I've kind of tried to stay in touch with everybody as best I can, because I'm working and I kind of like have to do it real fast and then get back out. Cheeky Monkey. Yeah. I'm sure everybody's going to vote for me for governor, right? Can you imagine how bad off we'd have to be? Let's see. We can either vote for somebody who knows what the hell they're doing, or we can vote for Chad, who has no damn clue. I don't think you should probably want me to be governor. That's just my opinion. Let's see. Mid-60s and rain here at the beach. Man, what's everybody throwing the beach thing in my face? Like, what's up with that? Y'all sucker punching old Chad Rowe? Just because I'm stuck here, I got to be like that. I'm waiting for one of you guys because and I'm waiting for somebody like send me like pictures or videos like their freaking awesome vacations or where they're at, and I'm sitting back here at IPD in the cruiser with body armor on and very uncomfortable. But hey, yeah, Chad for governor. I don't think I'd do that. Wow, Steven, you're going way too far with this, buddy. Don't be calling me normal. You obviously don't know me. Ask my wife. Just saying. So eats pigs, huh? Finger guns and stuff. Y'all stupid. Y'all think you get away with trying to make fun of my cousin Chili and stuff. And he ain't just run for governor. He just gonna be governor because he don't start something. But anyway, so I actually had somebody the other day. I said that just being silly in person, and it's like, you do that on YouTube? I was like, yeah, I do. I was like, oh yeah. They kind of look at me like, yeah, he's a crazy one. So, but anyway, so let me ask you guys a question. We talked a little bit before in some different live streams about some different things, and I've posted some videos. And well, thank you, FM Lawyer. I appreciate that. And you being a litigator and an attorney, I would think you would know better, buddy. But I'm being silly. Okay, Bluebear's backstage. Sorry, buddy. Okay, Blue, we got a real problem.
Oh Lord, what did I do now?
No, it's not you, buddy. Some of these people, they literally said that they would vote for me for governor.
I'd vote for you. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine if I was in charge? I mean, it's bad enough that I'm a captain of the police department, let alone to say that I'm going to be in charge of the executive position of a state.
I think you do okay.
Well, you know what? There is one thing I can say about that. I don't think I could screw it up much worse than some of the politicians that we have now. That's for sure. I think some of them forget about freedom and forget about patriotism and why they took their oath of office, and they get in there and they worry more about bureaucracy and trying to make friends that'll pat them. I don't know. I shouldn't say. I don't know.
I think it's about the almighty greenback.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Hi, Baby Doll Ironton. Baby Doll Ironton, I didn't know if you noticed or not, but in the video, hang on, let me pull my solo up here. Hang on just a second, Blue. I'll pull you back up. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I am using my new mic. So thank you very much for that. That was courtesy of Baby Doll Ironton. So God bless you, and thank you very, very much for that. That was very kind of you. I am absolutely humbled. Blue, I'm sure you probably can agree with me on that, buddy. At the generosity of these people. Our subscribers in this community are just amazing people.
Oh, absolutely. I had a young couple move in next door, and they've been trying to clean that place up. I've been over there helping them all day, cutting down trees and vines, and
Right.
That's what I was actually doing when you sent me that message. That's why I was like, when are you going live?
Isn't it crazy the weather that we're dealing with though? I mean, like
Yeah,
this is like,
it's getting a little cool out now, but
oh, is it okay? Because I haven't been out in a couple hours, so
yeah, it's starting to cool down.
yeah, I just I just happened to, you know, we was out a little bit this morning, and I was blown away, and it was so warm out. Um, oh, so Steven says now it's freaking hailing. Well, you know what? Maybe it's because I had to get rubbed in my nose so much about all the nice places everybody has to be except for me. So I don't know. So anyway, here's my plan, Blue. You know, I wanted to kind of just hang out with my subs today. That's really kind of what this is about, and just kind of have some fun, do some silly stuff. And
Or are
and
you
I don't
saying you're the
know, you know,
Dom
where this
today?
is going to go, and hang out with my people, I'm fine, right? So, round 2 for governor. I got to put this up here. Oh, yeah, for governor this time. We could actually have the sequel. Could you see that? This time coming to you to a theater near you.
Here's the deal, Chad. If you get governor, I want to be your lieutenant governor.
Absolutely, buddy. We can't screw it up any more than anybody else. You know, that's the thing. Is worst case scenarios. They look at us and be like, "Man, you guys are dumb." Be like, "We told you, it's not our fault. We literally come with a warning label. If you vote for us, vote at your." You have to remember, like, voting for us would be like seriously like voting for children. So we don't know what's going to happen. Our attention span's really, really short, and the chances are we're probably going to get up there and we're just going to like be like, "Hey, let's just declare like today a state holiday so we can all go fishing." You know, so I don't know how well that would go over, but oh, effing law, you've been down with the flu, man. That sucks, man. Dude, everybody's getting this crap. I mean, like it's some like nasty crud, and everybody's getting sick, and like. And I noticed that the other day, some guys were saying, "Oh, you know, I tested negative for the C word and I tested negative for the flu, so I don't know what I got, but I feel like crap." Right? I don't know. I
There's
noticed
been a there's been a little virus going around.
it's kicking some butt. I know that. You know, which I mean, I don't know, you know, what the difference is in any of them, but you know, can you imagine like you know, if this was 2 years ago, it would all be called the C word, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion.
I'd be inclined to agree with your opinion.
Queen said been down for 2 weeks. State fishing week. I agree. Let's do a state fishing week.
Week? I was thinking more like a month.
Okay, deal. And here's the thing: is when I'm governor, you don't have to pay for your fishing license. If you have a job and you pay taxes in our state, you don't have to pay for a hunting and fishing license. How's that? You know, I feel like you already contribute. You shouldn't have to pay for hunting fishing license to go out and enjoy our natural resources. That just blows my mind. So, but I could go on a soapbox. I'm not going to. Nobody really cares what I have to say anyway. You know, that's the benefit of being me, though, is I can literally look back and be like, you know what? Nobody cares what you're saying. And I'm like, oh, yeah, good call. Good call.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
So, oh my gosh, maybe I've been sick for 4 weeks. What's have you got any idea what's going on? I mean, is it like a flu type symptoms or what? That's awful. Well, which I had, like I said, I did have COVID in 2021.
I had it
And
this year.
yeah, I remember that. I remember you
I had it
telling
a
me.
couple months ago, actually.
Yeah, and I remember you and I talking about that. But when I had it, yeah, I thought that I just had the flu. I mean, I really didn't think I was really sick, and then all of a sudden, wow! Which I don't
Well,
know anything about that crap, but I know that I was so sick it was awful.
when I had
Um,
it, it hit me like a ton of bricks out of nowhere.
yep.
And I guess I was just starting the whole fever thing,
Hmm.
and it just put my body into a shock, and I couldn't quit shaking. And after a couple rounds of Tylenol, it finally eased up. And after about 36 hours, I finally got my temperature to break. And once I got the temperature to break, I felt like $1,000,000.
Right. Sometimes that's all it takes, though, is once you get that fever to kind of kick, you know what I mean? Like it seems like it changes a little bit. And to answer you, Stephen, yes, absolutely. How's this? If I'm governor, if I can make that happen, do you mean, are you talking about the Hearing Protection Act for the state of Ohio as a state law?
I'm
I don't
down
think
for
there's any
that.
reason. I don't think a quiet gun was ever any more dangerous than one that makes noise, but that's just my opinion. But anyway, so listen,
Holy crap!
I
Minus 2 degrees Celsius there.
that's like is that, wouldn't that be like 20 some degrees Fahrenheit?
It
I'm
would be
sorry.
30
Now
degrees Fahrenheit,
it could be 30.
I think,
I don't know.
because
Once
freezing
again,
in Celsius is
and you
0.
guys want
So
me to
negative
be
2 would
governor?
be 30.
I just now found out which way's up. Um, but anyway, so this is kind of where we're at. Which I did want to talk about a few things I've kind of seen, kind of around the community a little bit. I guess Chili's gone on YouTube. That's at least what I heard. But I also heard, I did hear, that he posted something about maybe changing Blue, maybe being a little more easy to get along with. You know anything about any truth to that, or?
Well, I know he posted a video on YouTube yesterday because I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And the one I think you're talking about is the one
I think
that
this
he
was a
had
community
the.
post.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that, but I noticed when
Well,
he was talking to the Arizona State Trooper
mhm.
in one of his videos over the last couple of days that he had a more cordial conversation with the trooper.
Well, I don't know if you noticed this, but he does that from time to time.
Well, here's the funny thing. The next video he posted was when he went after the California Highway Patrol.
Yeah.
He was being a dick.
Yeah, he does that from time to time. He'll have a somewhat civil discussion, and then before you know it, it's gone, and he's right back to being the name calling type, whatever. Out of my experience,
Lisa, no, this is my newest avatar. She asked if I went back to my old bear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is a new one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I call my sniper bear.
That's your sniper bear. What's he carrying there, Blue? I can't see. Let me bring him
I'm
up
not
here.
exactly sure what that is. That is a special weapon that Kenny I made for me.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't.
She does all my avatars for me, so.
Oh, okay.
I can't tell you what that is, but when she sent me that picture, I was like, yeah, I like that one. That one's cool.
Nice. Well, anyway, back to what I was saying. The way that I understand, and once again, if I'm wrong here, somebody correct me, but I think Derek posted maybe a little thing, or he done a video based on his Chili's community post, I believe.
You got me
And
curious now. I'm gonna go look
the
that
gist of it was that Chili was basically he kind of led you to believe through, it wasn't a direct thing. Hey, I'm going to start being nicer to people, but you could tell that he was kind of trying to say, basically the way that I read it, and maybe I possibly mistook him, but it was like, everybody learns from their mistakes type thing, and he's making evaluations within himself type. I don't know for sure, but I certainly hope that would be the case. I don't hold a whole lot of hope for that in my experience. But I would like to see that happen. But that's still something, that's between Chili and within himself and God. I can't make him change, and we can't make him change. Either he's going to do it or he's not. I don't understand if he continues this, Blue. I don't understand how he's going to be able to keep anybody supporting him. I mean, I know there's going to be the occasion where there's going to be somebody who's going to pop in and be like, oh, you're right, I hate cops. And I've run across that a few times where people blatantly, they don't necessarily disagree with me, but they disagree with my profession. And before they ever give me a chance to even speak on my ideals, they already hate me because of my job. And that's fine. I mean, I don't really care. I mean, I care. I don't want anybody to hate me, but I'm not going to let it beat me up. Right. But I think the same could be said for people that don't necessarily listen or agree with Chili. However, they do just don't like cops. So naturally, they're going to listen to what he says, and they don't really hold any more value into what he's saying other than the fact that, well, I don't like him. Hey, Dark Watch, how are you? And God bless you. Thank you very, very much for your support. You've been amazing. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, Dark Watch. I actually pulled up that community post I think you're talking about. It was like 2 days ago, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I think Derek just done a video on it a couple days ago, so I'm not real sure.
Let's see. It says, let's try to remember that most people are afraid. Most people shiver with fear when they hear the word change. How many people go to the same barber hairstylist when they don't really like the cut they get? You one of them, think about it. You might be, and not even realize that the fear, he's got if change, but I think it's supposed to say of change. Lands you a bad haircut every month or two. Why? Fear paralyzes. I'm trying to be kinder. Every day it's tough when you get the nonsense attacks I do. I'll keep remaining open with others. Be well. And there's a picture with it that says nobody really has their shit together. We're all hurting and learning and growing in different ways. Keep going.
Right. And the thing is I agree with everything he says right there. The context of everything that's being said. I can't guarantee that the merit behind it in which he may be applying it would be correct. I don't know. But as far as what his statement said, okay, you're right, Chili. Absolutely. Now let's see it put into action.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do fear change.
Sure. Well, that's absolutely. I mean, I really don't know anybody that doesn't. We say that type of stuff. People say it all the time. But let's face it, who really doesn't fear it to a little bit? I mean, everybody, because you never know what's next, right?
Yeah, you never know what's around the corner.
I wanted to read this real fast. Epiphany says, head over to my channel after this live and check out my daughter's unplugged covers. Goosebumps, I'll tell you. So remember that, guys. We'll go over when we close out here and let's see what how those covers go. So, but yeah, I don't know, Blue. I don't hold a whole lot of hope, that he's gonna change. But that's just my opinion. Smitty, how are you?
Here's my thing. I was just reading what I think Lisa put in there a minute ago. At least I did read it, but I don't want to get off track of what we're talking about. Here's my thing with Chili. If he would actually do some research and not look at the first thing that pops up on Google and take his ideas.
You're asking an awful lot of him.
Oh, I know. But if he would take his ideas to the people that can actually make that change, he would probably do a lot better.
Okay, well, here's my thing, and you guys have probably all heard me say this. Change doesn't start at the White House, the State House, the courthouse, the church house. Change starts in your house. If you want change, you have to start with a reflection of yourself. If you want people to be patriotic, if you want people to be more patriotic, then give them an example of patriotism. If you want people to show compassion, be a compassionate person. You have to start somewhere. Before we start influencing anybody else, we have to start with ourselves and kind of do a self-evaluation. And I'm going to tell you this, that's the hardest thing to do, boy. Because every time you start looking in the mirror and you say, oh, damn, I suck, right?
The old checkup from the neck up.
Yeah, that's right, buddy. I wish you're right, because I really do believe that honestly, if he would have went about this differently, he probably could have made some change in some different ways. I'm not saying that necessarily he would have, the Terry versus Ohio thing, in my opinion. I mean, I've been a police officer for, a little while now.
Yeah, me too.
And I can tell you that Terry versus Ohio is basically, it's a very, very important thing for law enforcement to be able to do anything potentially proactive whatsoever. And I'm referring to that as in a criminal aspect, criminal investigation thing. Chili wants you to think that everything that Terry versus Ohio is us seeing somebody walking down the street and stopping them. It has to be based on a reasonable suspicion, meaning that, like, for instance, and I gave this example, let's just say that, and I think I've used something close to this before, but Terry versus Ohio example would be your neighbor calls because there's what sounds like glass breaking in your backyard. You're out of town. We get there and, see, a guy literally walking down the alley coming from your area. And, he's got, what looks household goods on him, whatever. Right. We didn't see him bust the window. We didn't even see him in your yard, but he's close by. Moments later, we would stop him and talk to him, and we would be able to ID him based on reasonable suspicion. He was in the area, kind of carrying something that looks like it might be related to a possible burglary, whatever. That is Terry versus Ohio. Chile is not smart enough to tell you and explain to you what Terry versus Ohio really is. That's what Terry versus Ohio is. And that's been challenged. How many times, Blue? How many times the Supreme Court looked into Terry versus Ohio? It's not going to be overturned. We've seen it too many times. It's a fundamental, really, of law enforcement in today's day and age. It almost has to be in place for us to be successful.
Absolutely.
So, and once again, I'm not trying to hinder anybody, and you guys know I'm all about freedom, and I love freedom. But in order to turn over stuff like that, you're crippling the part that matters. And that one guy that trolls on all the channels, I'm not going to mention his name because I'm not going to give him any I'm not going to give any kind of clout whatsoever. But he talks this crazy nonsense about don't need police and and all this stuff and calls himself a pacifist. And I'm thinking to myself, you're a pacifist and you want to live in a state without government. You want to live in a state without police. What do you think's going to happen to you, bud? You better be a pretty violent person and very skilled in violence to be able to protect what's yours, because I can tell you, you're right. Volunteerism, I've seen people say volunteerism isn't anarchy. No, volunteerism and not having any kind of government to guarantee our republic isn't anarchy. It will turn into anarchy. That's what happens.
What was the name of that movie? The one where they had all like the weird cars, Mad Max.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That is what would happen to this country if we went to volunteerism.
Well, and if you get into that level, and I found that in my experience, and I'm by no means an expert, but in my experience, people that believe in that level or that depth of volunteerism, or what they like to refer to as true freedom and sovereignty, they're a lot of them are pacifists, or a lot of them are so left in nature that they've kind of come back right. They're all this almost woke type ideals, and it's like, that's not you better realize what you're talking about here, because you're not going to like the long-term outcome of what you're requesting and requiring. It's been tried in the past before and it fails, because what happens is the strong is going to rise to the top, and you're going to have a freaking emperor again. Nothing is going to prevent the strongest from rising to the top if you don't have some type of body of some type of government. And Tom broke it down really well the other day. Tom broke it down, when we done our stream the other day about basically how the 9th and 10th work, and how when we were, we the people, we were already states. Was basically we hired the federal government, and that's really true, right? I mean, whatever. So I want to see this Allied Forces says right here. I thought Terry versus Ohio, the way Chile explained it, was traffic stops only. Okay. That has nothing to do. It's actually the exact opposite. He is so wrong and so stupid by saying that just shows his ignorance. Traffic stops are based on probable cause. Traffic stops are when we witness a traffic violation. Now, there are a potential that there could be a Terry stop. For instance, if we just had a bank robbery and the suspect car looks like this and blah, 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 then yeah, that's potentially going to be a Terry versus Ohio type Terry stop, where we're going to stop them and ID them. But generally speaking, a traffic stop based on a traffic offense is not Terry, Ohio. That is probable cause. We witnessed a violation and we stopped them for that cause. Not suspicion, probable. We've already seen it. He has no clue, and that's the problem. I think if you were to ask him to point up, he wouldn't know where to point. That's whatever. So anyway, and once again, he doesn't, I'm not going to get into the chili debate much. I've just never been too impressed with his knowledge of what he thinks of the government or of law enforcement. Yeah, exactly. Odin. Yeah, he needs to understand what a Terry stop actually is. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, because he has no clue.
No clue whatsoever. No clue. Anyway, so that's what's kind of, led us where we're at or whatever. And, we've got a lot of things going. And I don't want to get off on this because I really honestly come into this stream today with intentions of just having complete good time, fun, and just laid back and, whatever. But anyway,
not get into a big chilly debate.
Right. But this one troll guy gets on there and he talks about, volunteerism, and he wants to give examples of basically what it would be like without government. And it's like, you have no clue what you're talking about. And speaking of somebody here that might have a little bit, Tom, how are you, sir?
Oh, you don't have any. Oh, give me a second here. Okay. Is anybody making any noise?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Now I can hear you too. Okay, awesome. Hey, how's it going, guys?
Doing great. Okay, so Tom, what we were kind of talking about, and it's funny because I just mentioned you. And actually before we move on, hi, dirty old man. I love where else can you just hop on and hear me say, hey, dirty old man, hello, how are you? Right.
I thought you were talking to me for a second.
I thought he was looking in the mirror again.
Oh, might be. So real fast, and we're going to have a more lighthearted stream today, Tom, and kind of have some laughs, hopefully.
Cool. I need that.
Before we do, I was kind of sharing, a little bit of a story that I got to hop in on a chat, and there's a guy that he's kind of one of those volunteerism type guys, is extreme libertarian type that's so left or right and so right or left type. And he's basically, anti-government, I think he's anti-everything. I'm not so sure he's not even anti-him. But anyway, and the irony is, and what I've noticed, and I don't know if maybe it's just something I've noticed, or if you guys have ever witnessed this either, but these guys that do this stuff that always say that they don't need government, they don't need police, they don't need this, they don't need that, a lot of times like to refer to themselves as pacifists. And to me, that is the funniest thing. You're a pacifist. What the hell do you think is going to happen, dude? If you do remove any type of protection, so to speak, any type of law and order, and you're a pacifist, do you think that's going to work out real well for you? I'm just curious. And I don't know if you've ever actually run into that or not, Tom, but I found that almost laughable.
I mean, I've heard people talk about pacifism. The only pacifism to me that makes any sense is the kind based on your religion, where even if those consequences are predictable and you understand they're coming, you just accept them as part of what you believe is a higher meaning of some sort. To just believe them for some sort of political ideology is just mind-numbingly silly.
I should clarify. I don't mean to sound that he specified saying it was a political view. It's just I'm just saying
the two different kinds. Yeah.
Right. But he relates himself to both, if that makes sense. And then he really does believe that it wouldn't be a violent place. That it would just be.
You guys remember? It's probably about 10 years ago, maybe, when all the prepping was a gigantic big deal, and they had all these different TV shows about it. Making bunkers and all this.
Mm-hmm.
It was like one of those Discovery Channel type channels had a series where they would take like two different profiles of people around the country and what they're doing to prepare, and then the experts would give it an assessment at the end of the show, right? And one I remember that relates to this is the family that didn't believe in any guns. And they both made a decent amount of money, if I remember right. And they had this gigantic, like in a suburban town, gigantic garden out back. And they were just canning and supplying. And so they said on the show that their whole goal was to have enough to share with everybody. And so the person that's assessing them is like, well, how are you going to, where's your defenses? I don't see, there's no fences. There's no gates. There's no, and then they said they didn't have any guns or nothing. And they're like, well, how do you plan on defending it? And they're like, well, we figure if we have enough to share, we won't need to defend it. People will just, let us give stuff to them, and there'd be no reason to show aggression to us. That's just a fundamental misunderstanding of humanity.
Right. And to clarify, yes, Quakers, I understand the Quakers and Amish and whatever, but you have to also realize that right now we still have a United States government umbrella that still, whether they necessarily, consider that involving them, it still does. It still guarantees that there's repercussions for somebody who would steal from them or harm them. And these people, speaking of, want all that gone. They don't want guys like me and Bluebear to be around. They don't want any type of government to be able to say, hey, you broke the law. We're gonna do what we got to and arrest you and put you in jail, make you face justice. They believe that everybody should act on volunteerism, which basically, and I'm not an expert on volunteerism, but basically it means that I'm just a free, complete, sovereign person that goes by my own rules, and I will do as I wish, and blah, 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 as long as I don't hurt anybody else. Yes, but if anybody disagrees with that, that's where I come in. That's where law enforcement comes in. The first time that there's somebody who doesn't necessarily agree with that, you're going to need somebody to mediate. That's how it works.
You know what's crazy about all ideologies, whether it's the one me and you have, Chad, whether it's Marxism, socialism, all of these work if you have a group of people that have voluntarily chosen to do that system. It's like socialism would be wonderful if everybody volunteered to say, we're going to throw all of our stuff in and everybody gets to just share. And that's why you have communes in free countries like ours. You have people that put their money together, buy land, and they form a commune. And you can stay in it and practice its rules when you want, or you can leave when you want.
Sure.
All of these systems will work. Even your volunteerism will work as long as everybody decides to play by that set of rules.
Absolutely.
But in reality, there's always going to be somebody that's going to, this is why we can't have nice things kind of thing. Mm-hmm. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be like, I'm not playing that way. And then that's where you and Bluebear have been given authority delegated to you by the people through representative government to have authority to say, okay, these are the rules that we as a group have decided on. We're going to give you guys the authority to go throughout society and keep the peace and protect these rights.
Exactly.
It's really, and guys like you're referring to, what blows my mind is they don't understand that they sit under a blanket of peace and security because of your existence. Even if you never do anything, it's the fact that the threat is there. And all we got to do to see how true that is see what happens as soon as law and order breaks down, even overnight in a big city. And you can plainly see what the rules really are in people's hearts.
Well, we've seen that countless times.
Exactly. And they act like that doesn't exist, and there's not examples to see.
Exactly. Well, and the problem that I have with those type of ideals is like you said, if one person doesn't agree and he potentially could be a violent person, then there's problem.
You're breaking up, Chad.
Yeah. I didn't understand any of that. I thought it was just me.
But more violent.
Yeah, you're cutting out really bad, Chad.
I think he's completely frozen out now.
Yep.
Potato
internet.
Yeah, he is in West Virginia, isn't he?
He's been hanging out with Irish Demon too much.
So Bluebear, since I barely know you, maybe this is a good time for you to give me a basic rundown of who, what, when, where, and why.
Well, I am second generation law enforcement.
Okay.
I've been doing it off and on since 1997. I guess you could say I'm a jack of all trades, a master of none of them.
There you go.
I cut my teeth in EMS and fire in my younger years. I was actually the youngest certified EMT in the state at that time for about 6 months. I actually took my test for my EMT when I was 17.
Oh, wow.
So
I know
I've
you're
been in
type.
public.
I've met a few.
I've been in public service for a very, very, very long time.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, what state are you in? Because you're not local to me and Chad, I believe, right?
Well, that is a conversation that you and I can have in private. I don't release
Gotcha.
that
Understood.
publicly.
Understood.
But I've moved around a lot. I've lived in a lot of different places, and
Gotcha. Okay.
I am I don't want to say that I am not a constitutionalist, but I do believe in the Constitution. I did swear an oath to the Constitution.
Right.
And I believe in those amendments. And that's the way that I do my job in law enforcement.
Okay.
Is, I try to be fair but firm.
Sure.
And, I'm not one of these black and white guys. There's always that officer discretion that is available for us to use.
Right.
I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt until they give me reason not to.
Right. Until they remove all doubt, right?
Exactly.
Right.
I'm pretty laid back. I'm a gun guy. I like shooting long guns. I like going to the range. I like doing tactical stuff. So, I'm a big Second Amendment pro guy, pro Second Amendment guy. I'm not really good at talking about myself, as you can tell.
Well, I mean, like I said, all I know is the little bit of interaction we'd had on here, and lots of other people seem to refer to you in ways that they were obviously more familiar with you, and I didn't. So I thought it was a good opportunity for me to get at least a couple basics down. So, so you've been doing law enforcement for a couple decades, then, huh?
Yeah, for a long time, and I grew up with it. So,
yeah.
Right.
Kind of a blue blood, huh?
Yeah, I've been in this realm since, I guess you could say since the 70s, really, because
Gotcha.
In my younger years, that's all I knew. So,
gotcha. Well, thanks for doing it, man. Because I know people like to thank veterans, and I understand why they do, and I thank veterans. But sometimes, when the more I've gotten involved, because I got involved in the firearms world professionally, I then interacted with a lot more law enforcement than I ever had previously in my life. And as that happened, I was sort of ruminate on it and sitting and thinking of all of us get up and go to a job, or the majority of us. Actually, I'm not even sure it's a majority go to work anymore. But anyways, a lot of people get up and go to a job every day. And only you guys and a couple others have to literally go get involved by definition in all the stuff that the rest of us avoid. And to sit and think about that and actually imagine, putting my clothes on, getting in the car, driving to work, knowing that when I get there, I'm going to be sent into people's worst moments of their lives, their worst days. It's just kind of crazy. And I think you guys, I think you guys obviously know that, but I think you guys even kind of forget the contrast between you and the rest of us sometimes. Because in the military, I didn't do that. In the military, I didn't have to, I didn't go to work knowing I was going to get involved in anything. It was just going to be another day at work. I just know that times could get insanely bad. But you guys know pretty much every day that's all you're going to deal with is relatively bad shit.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily.
Intense, man.
Not necessarily. There are some days that that there's good things that happen.
Yeah, oh, sure, sprinkled in there. But like I said, I'm contrasting it between you guys and the civilian world.
Oh yeah, I mean,
when you contrast it, you guys have bad shit you're dealing with, except for weird days every day.
Well, I'll say it like this, Tom. Very rarely do you ever call the police because you're having a great freaking day.
And that's
yeah.
sort of my point.
And I think that's what he's getting at.
Yeah, other than like parade duty and that kind of thing, you guys
By
are
the way,
always going. You guys are always going into things that other people avoid.
By the way, Cheeky Monkey, I will check it out shortly. I can't wait to see this. Justin, how are you? And sorry about that, guys. My internet's crap, and I don't know why. I'm gonna have to look into this to see what we got to do to fix it. But
Potato
nevertheless,
internet.
So, but anyway, so I have a plan for today, guys, and I want to try to do this because we're going to do a tactical breakdown. Okay. But I want you guys, if you guys can entertain the chat just for a minute, I've got to get back up and share my screen because I had to come all the way out. And I'm going to get back over here and find the video that I was wanting to so we can do this tactical breakdown because this is some serious stuff, guys. You got to be serious.
Okay.
This is a highly trained agency.
Oh my God.
That I'm about to break down. So excuse me for just a minute. Tom and Blue will entertain you and I'll be right back.
So I failed tap dancing classes, Blue. How are you going to entertain? I don't know.
Well, I could tell some dad jokes, but that probably wouldn't go over too well.
Yeah, unfortunately, the only ones I remember because they're so horribly inappropriate.
Yeah. So what kind of I'm curious as what kind of professional gun stuff do you do?
Well, I don't near as much as I did, and that's maybe a long story. But I got involved just as a concealed carry instructor is how it began, and then through a series of events, fortunate events, I'd say, I got involved with Buckeye Firearms Association, which is a nonprofit Second Amendment political lobbying organization here, kind of like the NRA of state of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got involved, I thought, wow, this is like hundreds of people, like an NRA, right? But instead, I found out that at the time I was invited into, because it's invitation only kind of organization, because they deal with so much insider info on politics, that they had to be able to trust people weren't going to say, hey, I just talked to the governor and, here's what he said kind of thing. Yeah. You got to be able to keep stuff closed so you can get communication done. Anyways, so they invited me in, and I found out when I got in there, there's like less than 30 of them did all this for the state of Ohio. And then their nonprofit firearms education wing is Buckeye Firearms Foundation. And I got involved right after the Newtown massacre in Newtown, Connecticut, what they call Sandy Hook. And that organization, Buckeye Firearms Foundation, started a program called Faster Saves Lives. And Faster Saves Lives is the preeminent trainer or provider of training. We're not trainers. That's the wrong way to put it. We're a nonprofit that runs this program that trains up school districts that have chosen to be armed. So we do all the fundraising, the advertising. We hire world-class trainers. We're not the trainers. Although, that one show we did with Chris Serino, that's how I met Chris Serino and began working with him, as he was one of two training groups we hired here in the state of Ohio to run our program. And so every summer I would work with him for a couple weeks.
Oh my gosh.
3 weeks out of the year. I would work with Chris Serino. And then next thing you know, I'm going to his instructor courses and I'm teaching some advanced stuff, end up with a gun shop. That's how I met Chad. So it's kind of like around the fringes. So I deal with the politics. I deal with the nonprofit stuff, the training of schools. I work with other training agencies, as well as doing my own classes here and there and gun shops. So it's been and I've been director of training around here for our local indoor ranges. And so it's been a varied thing sort of around the edges. And it's been like 95% all handgun and all civilian related. So although I have done some training, helped train some law enforcement up in the FASTER program, school resource officers. So,
Okay. Blue, did you see this?
You're not a cop? Yeah.
I got bad news for you, Angela. He's a policeman. I know him.
Angela, all I got to say is if you don't believe it, then I'm sorry.
I guess I'm not sure
Hang
how
on
that.
just a second, Chad. I've got to take a call real quick.
Sure. We'll go ahead and move on with this. But yes, Blue is a policeman. I've known him for a while, and he's certainly a policeman. Angela, would you like for me to prove it that I am? I think I've pretty much proven who I am. I'm a captain of the City Ironton Police Department, and I'm a personal friend of Bluebear. So I'm not really sure what the prove it thing is, but no, you can't prove that he's not. You can just prove that you're a troll. So, all right. So here's where our tactical breakdown goes, guys. And Blue, I want you to understand, and Tom as well. This is very serious. Do you understand? We're taking this very seriously, Tom.
Okay.
This is a serious matter that we're going to take very seriously. So I want everybody to get ready, because here we go.
Nicely constructed cart return here. Big steel poles bolted in. Hearing the sound though of the lazy bones.
Are you here with this, Tom?
Right over that way. Thank you, ma'am. No. That's a full spot block. Narc, did he try to split it up? Thank you, ma'am. Great job. Full spot block gets a full-size magnet. Yeah. Let's go right there on the hood. They do it right there too. Good for her. Cart turn right over there, obviously. They just don't care. Don't seem to care. Well, good thing.
Does somebody have their like desk speakers on?
Then they got the full-size jumbo. Those are 10 by 29 inches. Is he stopping? Yeah. There he is. Let's have a conversation. Hey, do you want to take your cart back instead of throwing the magnet in the mulch? I guess not.
Much better.
You do it all the time. I think I had an SMID.
Take it home?
No, take the carts back to where.
I will, but next time. We're in a hurry. We have
Are you the doctor? Are you the doctor? You got medicine? Yeah, exactly. I didn't think so. Well, because of the back talk, you saw they got that second rear lazy bones on board. And again, sick person at home. They always. I think you may have just witnessed the inspiration for something. I love that back your side there. The inspiration for something. We need to start handing out like magnetic cards. So when they pull, I'm in a hurry. I'm in a hurry card. They pay people card.
Okay, just real fast. So, Tom, are you familiar with this, Tom?
I mean, I've never seen anything this stupid before, so I guess not.
This is cart narcs. And this guy literally goes around and he's got a tactical vest on that says cart narcs, and he's got this little flashlight that literally lights up and stuff. And it's so funny. He has such a good time with this, messing with these people that won't put their cart back in the cart return. So we're going to do a tactical approach, but I do want you to pay attention very closely to this few moments here, because this guy's conditioning is off the chain. Pay close attention to how far he runs and how he doesn't miss a breath. Here we go.
He's getting out. Let's see if we can catch him. Cart speed. Activate. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Somebody else. Oh, it's still on the back. Okay. Oh, they just ran a red light. Let's see. Did they litter that magnet or just take it?
Did we notice that he didn't even fall short of his breath after all that? What's that?
I'm on a podcast, dude.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Yeah,
that's why we do the
breath.
You see if they threw that magnet anywhere? Big black thing, 10 by 20. It's all right. That's why we've done the secondary magnet application. You just saw there, they still had the, pull it out for you guys. They still had the lazy bones on board magnet on the right rear quarter panel. So when they get home, they will see what lazy bones they are, and it will display a good warning sign to other motorists. Hey, watch out. This is a lazy bones who runs red lights also. Anyway, back to the original thought there about having victim.
Okay, guys, like I said, I wanted to have a little bit of a little more lighthearted stuff. And when I seen this, I couldn't help but laugh my hind end off at this guy that goes out there and he does this stuff and has like, gosh, 500,000 subs doing this stuff. And he like, some of these people really buy into this, that like this is legit. Like there's people that ask him, "Oh, who do you work for? Are you a policeman?" It's hilarious. And this guy's just doing this as a gag. He's just having fun with it because, you know, these are people that won't put their carts back up in the cart corral at the grocery store and stuff. And he goes all around and he travels around doing this type stuff, basically being a real live in-person cart troll. And it's absolutely hilarious. If you watch some of his videos and stuff and the stuff that he does, and these people that will argue with him, and his magnets that he puts on their car says, "I'm a lazy bones. I'm too lazy to take my cart back." Or there's some other ones and stuff. And then the people will ask him like, "What did you put on my car?" "Oh, nothing. I just put a magnet that says you're lazy bones." And they're just like, "Oh, okay." Like, it's amazing. And how many people just look at this and be like, "No, that's cool, man. It's cool. Yeah. You know, I'm a lazy bones." So, it's silliness, but it's fun. So, and the reason that I picked that one was because that dude like ran, gosh, what, probably well over 100 yards and didn't.
Oh, yeah. He wasn't even panting.
No. Oh, I just thought that was funny. I had to share that with you guys when I seen that. So, once again, I just had a good time with it, and I thought you guys would too. So, was he on Dr. Phil? Allied Forces says he was on Dr. Phil. That's so cool.
I think he's been on a couple TV shows.
The Cart Narcs guy has?
Yeah.
Oh, that's freaking no shit, Steven. I want to go around I want to see like, dude, I didn't put my card up on purpose just so you would freaking get me. Just to have a good time with it. So, but you know, I saw that and I thought that would be a good one. And I also want to talk about something that I posted the other day in my community. I would like to start doing some reaction videos to some police impersonators. And there's some really wild stuff out there. You know, it blows my mind. That many people will actually want to dress up like policemen and go around, and I don't know. I really don't know what they're doing. I don't know. Some of them, I guess, have bad intention of actually going around and trying to force people to do things, or some of them just, I don't know. But this Jeremy DeWitt guy I was introduced to recently. You familiar, Blue?
Yep.
He's out there, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Put a 1 in the chat if you know who Jeremy DeWitt is. I'm curious if my chat knows anything about this guy. He seems like he's a real wacko. Tom, are you familiar with him, Tom?
No, I haven't heard anything about him.
Okay, well, here's his gist. At one time, and once again, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody that's familiar. But at one time, I think he has a criminal record, I believe. And he started a company that's like a funeral escort or something, maybe. I don't know, like something like that in the state of Florida, I believe. And in Florida, you can, I guess, do that type of stuff. I don't know. I don't know the gist of Florida law, but basically, he dresses up basically like a cop. He has a motor unit completely, like he's on a what appears to be a motor unit, like a Harley, or I don't know what if he's riding some kind of bike. But anyway, he definitely looks like he looks the part as a policeman.
He looks official.
Yes, and he even has like a pepper ball gun that looks like potentially could be a sidearm. Just out there, man. Just this dude's crazy. Like, and like he'll stop traffic and he cusses at people and yells at them and stuff. And people seem to think he's like a real policeman. It's really something. And he just goes way too far with, you know, he'll run in and out of traffic and weave in and out of traffic and stuff. And the way I understand is he's been stopped multiple times, been arrested multiple times, for stuff along those lines. So I don't
Isn't
know
that
anything about
illegal?
this. I'm sorry.
Isn't that illegal?
Yeah, you would think it would be illegal to act like that. And he's been arrested for it, put in jail. So yes, I seen that effing lawyer. That's what I was going to talk about next. There's another one supposedly that's doing this in another state now, and I don't know what people get the jollies off of this, but it's like, wow, that's crazy. I mean, seriously, like you're putting a lot of work into trying to look like a policeman. Maybe you just don't get it, but there's no glory to it. I don't know what you're thinking, but it's not what you think. But what a dangerous situation that could potentially be. You know, somebody that's looking like a policeman and trying to act like a policeman. It's something else. I mean, he's really something else. Have you watched any of his videos or any videos done on him, Blue?
I've seen a few here and there.
Yeah, he's out there, man. I mean, he really tries to do his own thing, you know. And I'm going to do some videos on him real soon. I'm going to pull up some of his stuff and actually do some reaction videos because, to be honest with you, I think this dude, and I want to get some other ones too. So the reason why I wanted to do this live today is I don't want to really do the reaction thing on him live, because I really want to watch these videos and kind of break them down, and then I want to give you guys my opinion on him. So, Christine says he's back in jail. Big shocker.
He actually got violated on his probation.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Just, yeah. But anyway, so with this whole thing, you know, with these type of guys on there, I started thinking, you know, everybody's kind of doing the auditor thing and everybody's kind of doing the reaction to the auditors and whatever. And I really wanted to kind of do more of the reaction to police impersonators and maybe some tactical type, you know, use of force type things, or, you know, police videos, or even civilian type videos that would be available, you know, to do kind of a defensive tactics type reaction videos. And probably, I'm sure I'll still probably touch on some of the auditor stuff occasionally, but that's not really my thing, just because I think there's so many people in our community that are already doing that, and they probably have a lot better opinions on it than I do, and they're probably a little better than I am at it. So I would just like to do stuff that's a little closer to my wheelhouse. So, you know, we'll see how that goes, but that's my plan. So, and I'm hoping to maybe be able to start working on some of those videos and do some stuff in the next few days and get something up. And I have a shooting video, officer involved shooting video I'm working on that I've actually, I've started doing the video on it a few times and get interrupted or something happens or whatever. It's, you know, it's something, it's always something, and I get thrown back. So, but I promise that one's coming. Flat Derp, actually, big shout out to Flat Derp as usual, being my hero. Actually done me a thumbnail up for it. So I've already got the thumbnail ready. I just have to actually get my part done. So that one will be coming soon. And it's a more tragic one. It's a really, really sad situation that happened. And I'm not going to give away much other than the fact that the outcome wasn't a good one. It was very tragic. So, yeah. And I will say, oh, by the way, did you guys see the video that I done, or that Flat Derp done with the voiceover thing and had me do the Carl voice? Well, he actually done the video, and there was people thinking he was trolling me, and I was like, no, that's really me. I was like, no, you don't. He's not taking shots at me. I'm the one actually doing the voice. So we had a good time with it. So, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, he uses this DeWitt guy uses patches and logos that look like LAPD, and he called himself a Metro State, Tom.
Metro State.
Yeah, and it's actually got Metro State like on his uniform, and he wears like motor unit pants and the motorcycle boots and a duty belt. He just doesn't have a gun on it or whatever, I guess. But
well, I think he's carrying a pepper ball gun.
Yeah, something. He's carrying something. You know, I don't remember exactly what he's doing, but he's out there now. And
mental illness. Seriously, that's a sign of some sort of mental illness.
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, you know, to put yourself in that position, you know, you're really putting yourself in a very dangerous spot, man. You know, because you know, somebody that doesn't like cops, you know, is very likely to ring your bell or maybe get shot because you don't have a gun and you have, the guy's out there. He's out there. And it's funny because there's so many people that like in his videos, and this guy's got body cams, Tom. He records this shit. No kidding. He actually records.
Evidence against him is easy to find, I guess.
Yeah, he's not a real genius, is he?
No. Reminds me back when I was at Bragg in the 90s, we had I was Bluebear. I was in the JAG Corps. I was a legal NCO, so
okay,
roughly equivalent to the prosecutor's paralegal.
Yeah,
roughly. Not exactly a parallel analogy, but close enough. Anyways, we had a guy in 82nd, I believe it was, maybe in another unit, went to the local one of the local ATMs and robbed it, and he put his gas mask on to hide his his identity. But then he kept his uniform on, so it had his unit patch and his name.
No way. No way.
I mean, most of the time, people doing criminal stuff aren't very bright.
Well, you know what's funny is like, do you remember when I think it was John Boy and Billy radio show, Tom? Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I didn't listen to it, but I know who you're talking about.
Well, they done one like Stupidest Criminals or something like that, and one of the stories they told, I couldn't help but laugh. This guy goes in to rob this bank, and he writes a note and he passes it. Excuse me, he passes it to the teller, and it says, "Be quiet, whatever. Give me all the money just in your drawer. Don't make a fuss. Blah 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 blah, and you won't get hurt." So she complies, hands him the money, and he walks out. And then the police come and they go to his house and arrest him. And he says, "How did you come right to my house?" And the police said, "You actually wrote the demands note on the back of your check stub." It literally had we got your social security, dude. I know how much money you made last year. You can't make that up. I mean, seriously. Yeah,
I guess the smart criminals are the ones we don't ever hear about, right? Because they're smart enough, they don't get caught.
Yeah, I mean, if they're good at it, we're never going to know them anyway, right?
Exactly. So it seems like they're all dumb, but I guess not all of them, just all the ones we know about.
Yeah, exactly. So, but Evan Lawyer was a prosecutor for a long time. That's right. I remember that too. Yeah, I'm sure you've probably prosecuted some pretty dumb ones. I'm sure you probably had some slam dunk cases handed to you, and you say, "Hell, I don't mind a bit. We'll take this one to the box. I can look like a champion litigator in this one." And that's always nice when you got those type cases that the criminal does the work for you. How's that? So, but that's kind of where we's at, and I wanted to touch base with everybody, and I wanted to keep this one short today, and that's kind of why I reached out to you guys, as I know everybody, it's Saturday, and I don't want to hold everybody up, and I guess Chili's live, so I'm sure that people want to go troll him or have fun with him anyway. So, but that's kind of, I want to share the cart narc thing because I had a good time with that video, and I'm sorry, but I just thought that was just too fun.
I have never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, I saw it, and I thought, you guys, if you haven't watched that channel, go over and check it out. There's so many of those videos that are so funny.
Chad, do you remember back when I had the gun shop open? I used to buy products from a company called Violent Little Machine Shop, and I had patches and T-shirts from them.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, okay. They sell stickers, and the stickers are about, they're not small. They're about that big, and they're like a not quite day glow, but like a lime green. And on it, it says, "I parked like an asshole." And it's got a lot of fine print, insults and stuff on it. But the great thing about the sticker is it doesn't peel. You cannot peel it off. It breaks. Oh, no. It's made out of a plastic that's designed to break like an eggshell. So all you can do is pick it off by tiny piece by tiny piece.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so you can buy these a dozen at a time at violentlittlemachineshop.com. And I think their website's just violentlittle.com. But anyways, yeah, I've got a few of them. I've never used one. I honestly never have used one, but I used to carry them in the truck thinking I was going to use them one day. But especially here, I've noticed here in Ironton, you live in one area but work here in Ironton. Have you noticed that people here either can't park or just decide they don't want to?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've lived in Chicago for years. I've lived in 2 different places in the Carolinas for years. I've lived in Japan for years. I've lived in Akron, Ohio for a year. I've lived in Columbus for 10 years. I have never seen a group of people drive and park as bad as they do right here in this tri-state area. And the parking is specifically,
Well, you're welcome.
And the parking part is specific to Ironton. I don't understand, when you get a handicap placard, does that mean your driving is now handicapped as well?
You know what? I always wonder about that. It's like,
it's like, I don't have to drive right anymore. I got a handicap.
Oh my. Oh yeah. It's something. And I don't say Ironton. I'm going to say the tri-state. Because I've run into a lot in Huntington too. It's like, dude, seriously? Like,
yeah,
you're taking up 2 spaces, and if I didn't know better, I would say it's on purpose. It's
the one I went up to what used to be Pick and Save up here last night, and you got your spots, and instead of the person being parked, in the spot with the sides of their car parallel with the lines, they were diagonal in the spot. Well, I got a kind of a beater truck, so I really didn't care. I pulled in nice and parallel the way I was supposed to, so they were kind of boxed in for a while.
Oh my gosh! Hey, would one of my mods please post a link to Epiphany's channel, please? And let's go over there and check that out when we get off this stream. I'd like to get that word spread. And guys, I also want to say too, for those that are sending me the videos, thank you all so much. I really appreciate I really appreciate you guys sending me the stuff that you do, because that's where I get my content for, with the videos that I be posting up and stuff is usually coming from you guys. So, and once again, everybody, for all the amazing support. Like, it's so crazy, the support that I've gotten. Sometimes I'll just look at the phone and it's like, oh my gosh, I just got another Cash App from one of my subscribers just because they just want to support the channel. Just such a blessing. And I want you guys to know that is not unnoticed, and I truly appreciate it. And it's amazing to have support when I'm thinking to myself, I'm literally nobody. I don't know why you guys even want to hear me talk, but for whatever reason, you guys want to hang out with me, and I'm blessed, and thank God that you do, because you guys really do mean a lot to me. So, and I definitely appreciate it. So, but you guys absolutely make sure you go over and check out these other channels. Effin Lawyer, check out Effin Lawyer. If you have a link to Effin Lawyer, please do so. I want to grow our community. I want all of us to be in this together. As a matter of fact, if you have a channel that you want to push, that you want to put in the chat, feel free. Let's grow these. Steve Flintlock is coming, except for me. I have learned that Tom, I would have probably died real early in the Revolutionary War. There would have not been any books written about me. There was what's his name? Was it Timothy Murphy? Maybe he was considered the first real American sniper, I believe, by, I guess, the closest to definition to make.
Sure.
I think he was one of the first sharpshooters in the American Revolutionary War, and he was credited with taking out British officers from like 300 meters with a long rifle. Nice. Well, let me just tell you, okay, I consider myself a pretty decent shot until I started shooting a flintlock, and then I realized I'm not a shot at all, as a matter of fact. And my shooting is probably not as bad as my loading, because those guys getting those 3 and 4 shots a minute. Yeah, right. Okay.
Now wait a minute. This isn't a rifled barrel, though, right?
Yes, it is. It's a Kentucky long rifle.
So it's rifled flintlock, and you didn't shoot well with it?
I shoot okay. The loading it. And these guys are doing like 3 and 4 shots a minute out of these things.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, I can't even dig the shit out of my bag enough to do that in a minute. I mean, like, and these guys are literally cracking off rounds at 300 meters of officers on horseback and pop. I'm thinking, yeah, okay. Yeah, I can see the true marksmanship. I mean,
well, but you got to remember, that's how those guys up put food on the table too their whole lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So they had a little bit of a practice.
My accuracy is okay with them, when I'm actually rested and taking my time shooting or whatever. The gun is a lot more accurate than I anticipated. It's actually a pretty solid, because obviously it's the rifling's modern, and it's going to be pretty decent. And when you patch the ball, it's pretty tight fit in there. It grabs the rifling pretty good. However, the biggest problem is that flint delay. Have you ever shot one, Tom?
No, I haven't. The delay.
Well, the delay really throws you a curveball, and it's not long. Okay, it's not long. Like if you were shooting, witnessing it, I would be like, oh, that's almost instantaneous. But when you're behind the gun, it feels like a lifetime.
Yeah, and almost instantaneous is a long delay.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and when you pull the trigger, and of course, I know that you probably find this hard to believe, but this is not exactly a Timney trigger in this rifle. Okay, it's I don't know what the weight is, but it's pretty heavy, and it's not got a real good break, and obviously it's throwing a hammer with a rock on it, striking a piece of metal, so it's probably about what you expect. But overall, it's so fun to shoot though. It's a whole different. It's a whole different feeling, and the rifle's so long. Now, I will say, and I've never handled one of the originals, obviously. I mean, I don't have the wallet for that. But I am surprised at how balanced the rifle is. I mean, they really, I'm assuming it's probably pretty close to, if it's supposed to be a replica of some sort, it's probably pretty close to what they were kind of using. And it's a very balanced rifle. I mean, it actually is it's pretty pleasant to shoulder, and to actually grab a sight alignment on. It actually points really well. You can grab the sights really fast. But it's surprising at how that delay, man. I'm trying to get used to it. And honestly, I'm sure it will probably make me a better shot in the long run, to teach my flinch reaction to kind of calm down a little bit, because it really does. And of course, when that flash pan goes off, it's throwing, a little flash of fire and powder and smoke in your face anyway. So it's not like it's real easy to just kind of process that as you're trying to take a shot anyway. So, but it's fun. It's a good time.
Sounds like it. I'd like to try that.
Yeah, you'll have to shoot it, man. We'll have to go to the range and you check it out. It's a good time. So, but Tom, real fast, before we close out, I want to give my panelists an opportunity to have a last word. I just want to make this one short. Honestly, I just kind of missed you guys. I missed my chat and talk to my people. So
good. Yeah. And I'm glad you did.
And I want to give you the opportunity. What's anything coming up with the hall pass? Any lives coming up? Anything planned?
Well, right now I'm just looking to see, what things I can do. I'm not used to going through my life and saying that would be content. You know what I mean? Sure. So I'm trying to, as I go through the news in the day, like I know, just part of my daily habit, I'm trying to interpret it different. What would be good for some content? So that, and then just anything else going on, in life, like people don't know this, not a lot of people, but I got quite a bit of bird feeders right out front of my main window here, and people make fun of me for having an old man hobby. I've been doing it since I was a young man. Sure. But here's the other funny thing. Whenever they're at my house, all people do is sit here and watch birds. So, I was thinking, can I do anything with the birds? I don't know. Maybe get some cameras out there one of these days. Anyways, I've just been sitting around trying to dream up content. So if anybody here that's listening now or in the future is a subscriber to the Hall Pass, and you have suggestions of things based on your limited knowledge of me, what you would like to see me do, that's kind of why I'm trying to do it very broadly, to see what people like and what people would want more of. And go from there. But right now, I'm just trying to figure that out on my own.
Well, yeah, I think you do a wonderful job, man. It's a learning process, and I'm terrible. I've said all along, I'm not a content creator. Independent Criminals content creator. Team Skeptics content creator. Blue's a content creator. I'm just in the background. I'm trying to learn from these guys and actually sit back and watch them and learn.
Well, from what I'm seeing so far, so I'm not the expert in this, but. Excuse me, from what I'm seeing so far, you are what they call in the sociological world a liaison. You bring together disparate groups, like a high school kid that isn't part of any clique, but they're the central part in the middle that cliques can hang out around. They're like the person in the middle. Sociologists call that a liaison. So that, from what I've seen so far, working with you on your YouTube stuff, seems to be your thing, man. You're the linchpin between groups that otherwise would probably not be talking to each other.
Well, hey, absolutely. I appreciate that, man. I don't know that I consider myself that, but it was kind of my goal I wanted to bridge divides, You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Between people, you know, because there's no sense that we can't. You know what? I don't agree with everybody. I'm sure,
Sure.
Tom, I'm sure you and I don't agree on some things. I'm sure Blue and I
I'm
don't
sure.
agree on some things. But ultimately doesn't mean I don't like you guys. You
Right,
know,
exactly.
and I'm sure, you know, Terry's a good friend of mine. I don't agree with everything with Terry. Terry and I sometimes butt heads. Sovereign's a friend of mine, and I certainly don't agree with some of the stuff he does. I'm sure I agree with what I do at certain times, but I still like the dude, and I absolutely support him. As a matter of fact, I think earlier we mentioned that today is Sovereign's birthday, so everybody wish Sovereign a happy birthday, and
birthday,
make sure that that we check out Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. Once again, whether I agree with him or not, that's not the point. You know, you can go over there and you can make the decision if you want to stick around, but subbing to him and checking him out is not going to hurt anything. You can always unsubscribe if you don't like it. Same thing with Terry at Ironton Auditor. Check him out. Terry's making differences in the community. Terry's a good guy. He's out to do something good for the area. And I would really appreciate if you all would at least to check that out. If my mods can put links to Tom's channel, the Hall Pass, and Sovereign Soul, and some others. You know what? There's you know, with Terry and Ironton Auditor and bits and pieces. And then my next panelist, Blue, what's next for your channel, sir?
Well, it'd help if I would unmute myself.
Oh, Sovereign's not here. Sovereign's not here, so Blue had to pick up the mute button for him. Sovereign, if you're in the chat, he's trying to take your job, buddy.
I didn't want you want y'all to hear me trying to eat, so I muted myself for a minute. But released a new video last night. Got some more stuff in the pipeline. Just trying to figure out which direction I want to go and what's next on the plate.
Thank you, Lisa.
Just have to see what happens.
Well, we're always looking forward to your content, man. I love your breakdown videos. You know, and once again, F and Lawyer, please check that channel out. And man, there's so many. And I could sit here, I could literally do an entire stream of literally just sharing the channels that I enjoy. You know, you guys know how I feel about Kick. Kick is kind of my mentor in this. You know, keeping it criminal. Make sure you check out Kick. Kick's a very, very smart fella. He's a well-spoken guy, and he is a very I like to think Kick is he's kind of Tom. He's kind of like you about some things where he's kind of a thinker. So before you're going to get him to give a knee-jerk reaction, he's probably going to say, "Give me a little bit to think on that," type thing, which I appreciate. You know, I tell a lot of my
more.
I like to tell my young guys at work. You know, everybody likes to say, think fast. You know, and that's your instinct thing. And I preach to my guys all the time. And no. Think slow. Keep your mind rolling and processing. Slow and process things. But when time comes, I want you to act fast. I want you to be prepared to defend yourself and make a tactical decision quickly. But if your mind is constantly rolling, if your eyes are constantly moving, if your receptors are always looking for, you know, and paying attention to situational awareness and stuff, and you're paying attention to the way people talk and their gestures and their hand movements and stuff, you can think a lot slower than you realize. You can process that stuff over the period of time. Sometimes be able to react of it. But before we make the wrong decision, or we something that we shouldn't, or we act unprofessional or something, think slow. Use your head, right? But here's what I wanted to say. Obviously, like I said, please check out Bluebear, check out Hall Pass, and the other channels that I've mentioned. There's Terry now. Terry, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm getting ready to wrap it up, but we've been talking about you, and of course it's all bad. We're literally talking about just smack about it. This has been a Terry bashing fest, and I appreciate everybody joining in and bashing Terry with me. We got to go now. There he is, guys. He's on to us. Don't say anything about Terry. No, you guys know we love Terry. Terry's a good fella, and he's got a great heart. And that's the one thing that I will say is the difference between Terry and Ironton Auditor and the others that I've seen is, and I will say too, I have to give props to Josh. You know, Josh Abrams. I know a lot of people don't care for Josh because of, you know, the way he handles things, auditing and stuff. But when stuff came up with St. Jude's and we were doing that fundraiser, he was the first one to reach across the aisle, so to speak. And yes, I'll work with you and I'll help. You know, he doesn't agree with me. He doesn't like my profession. As a matter of fact, he doesn't like policemen at all, really, generally. But he's still willing to do a good, positive thing for a good, positive organization like St. Jude's. and worked even with me to do so. So, but Terry's that guy. He's putting his hand to it. You know, the Bible says that faith without works is dead. Meaning that if you can sit back and think that things can change and things can, make a difference in this and this and whatever. But if you don't put your hand to it, it's never going to change. It's never going to change. You're going to have to step out and do something on that faith, or it's not going to do any good. And Terry's that guy. He goes out and makes it happen. He don't just sit there and say, "Oh, I feel so sorry for those people." No, he says, "You know what? I feel sorry for those people. Now let's do something about it." So make sure you Terry at Ironton Auditor, okay? I really, like I said, I want to say real fast, videos are coming. Breakdown videos are coming. I'm going to get my big fat lazy butt back to training. I promise. Okay. I would maybe even like to do some videos and collab videos with Tom, maybe do some ruck videos, and maybe you can kind of teach me what that's all about type thing. And maybe we can get a few more in the area to kind of get involved. Maybe we get together.
Yeah, that'd be great. Be great
and
to get a club up again.
And I think Tom actually mentioned too, maybe all of us getting together and doing like a stream together, like actually going to one location and us setting up our terminals and streaming together in more of a podcast type setting, all of us together, and actually do a live stream, which I think would be a lot of fun. So make sure you guys stay tuned for this stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff is coming. I absolutely believe that good things are coming. Okay. And we're going to keep it going. So we're going to stay positive. We're going to stay focused. We're going to stay blessed. And as I've said every time, and you guys will continue to hear me say this, we have opportunities every day to do something positive in somebody's life. You're reading something today about Robin Williams, the actor, rest in peace. And, he was such a talented man, and to hear, would you have ever dreamed that man would have battled depression and had issues that, we probably would have never picked up on. And I was reading some of the stuff that he'd done, I don't know if you guys ever knew this, but every time he would go casting and they would be on scene, for a film, he would actually convince the production companies to hire, homeless persons in the area, temporary basis, and hire them, to help, with different things, and say, hey, because it gave them the opportunity to bless them a little bit, gave them a temporary job, maybe get some food in their stomach, maybe a roof over their head for at least for a short time. But he put his hand to it when he could, and he changed people's lives. And the reality is, you don't have to be Williams, you don't have to be Tom, you don't have to be Bluebear, you don't have to be Terry, you don't have to be me. You can be you and still make differences in people's lives. It's that simple. Pat somebody on the back. Right. You see somebody at the grocery store. Hey, buddy, how you been? You know what? It was good seeing you today, man. It was good seeing you today, because we never know what hidden back everybody's face. And like I said, if you stay with your focus on people and trying to do positive things, the sky's the limit. And guess what? The sky's the limit, whether the earth is a globe or flat, right? And it don't matter if you agree with people or you don't agree with them. We can still do it, right? And Sovereign knows I'm poking at him right there. I love you, Sovereign, buddy. But the reality is we can still work together and do good things for good people, right? I absolutely am thrilled about that. Good things are coming. Blessed things are coming. Look to be somebody's corner man. Stay focused. Stay driven. Stay positive. Thank you guys so much. I'm really blessed. You're all's friendships at this point. I really appreciate your support. I'm humbled and I'm blown away, and I'm excited for what's next. We're going to make changes, and we're going to make a positive impact, not just on YouTube, but the world. Tell me I can't. Challenge men can't. We'll see what's up. You guys, we will see you guys again really soon. Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Bluebear, for being on my panel tonight, or today. I'm used to saying night. And we will see you guys really soon. Check out the Hall Pass, check out Bluebear, see what kind of content's coming up. And as always, if you train like you fight, you will fight like you train. Good night, everybody.
Good night.